Y, Tesla's first master plan is over. They accomplished what most thought was impossible. Bring an electric car to the masses, but also prove that it wasn't a crazy idea. And the Model Y is the start of round 2, and it's about as good a start as I can think of. I've kind of been, I guess, a guinea pig, you could say, in the Tesla experiment for a while now. Aside from the original Roadster, I've owned or leased every Tesla that has come out before the Y. And Tesla's been a unique company because they told us from day one what their master plan was. It's been available on their website for years. And it's pretty simple. They want to speed up the adoption of electric transportation. And they said they are going to produce a very expensive, limited production car into the Roadster. That would let them produce a still expensive, albeit less expensive, larger sedan into the Model S. The Model S would let them produce their mass market car, the less expensive version of their dream that could be for everybody, into the Model 3. And there's been some deviations to that original plan, right? We got things like the Model X, perhaps my favorite car that I've ever owned with its crazy doors. It was perfect for me and my growing family. So here we are now with the Model Y, and this is the first tangible, available car in Master Plan Part 2. Here's what should be dropping. So it's a beautiful solar roof. It's things like the Model Y, it's the semi-truck, it's the Cybertruck. It's filling out the portfolio of electric vehicles, leading us to full automation, where a car can theoretically make money for you. That's a completion of the vision that Elon has laid out a few years ago. Now, we're still far from that, theoretically, but the cars are in place, and the Model Y is a car that is capable, that can get to that level of autonomy. The Model Y combines my favorite parts of all the other Teslas that I've driven. It's everything that I loved about previous Tesla cars, now in one more affordable package. And all of that makes the Model Y the perfect Tesla. Here's why. So maybe perfect isn't the right word, but it's close to it. The Model Y checks, I think, more boxes for more people than ever before. So the Model Y is essentially a crossover version of the Model 3. It's a little bigger in all the dimensions. Instead of a trunk, it's got a hatchback, and you sit up a little bit higher. Now, the specs you can order are all over the place, and they change a lot like Tesla tends to do. But at least as of this filming, you've got a dual motor version, and you've got a performance version. And then you've got different options inside of that. The one we have here is a dual motor with the larger 20-inch tires, which look absolutely gorgeous. And I think that would be the first upgrade I would pick on any Model Y I ordered. They look awesome on the car. And I love my Model 3. I've only had it for about 6 months, so I'm only about a quarter of the way through my 2-year lease. But there are compromises with the Model 3 and things that I knew going in. I wasn't going to be able to comfortably fit 3 car seats in the back of the car. I can comfortably in the Model Y. The 3 inches difference on the width makes a huge amount of actual real-life difference when you've got humans sitting in the back. Eventually, I'm going to have to drive my now 1-year-old daughter to school in a few years, and the 3 just wouldn't work for me then. The hatch in the back is infinitely easier than having a trunk. The Model 3 is a very generous trunk space. A hatch is just realistically easier. For those of you that are parents, sometimes you still need a flat space to change a diaper, for example, and that flat hatch gives you the option to do that. You've got the sub-trunk down below, and even another kind of smaller sub-trunk in front of that, where that third row would go if you opted for it. You've got the front trunk. It's amazing how much stuff you could cram into the Model Y. The Model Y definitely feels bigger inside than the Model 3. It's about 3 inches wider and about 2 inches longer, but the big difference is the height. It's 7 inches taller than the Model 3, and you feel it. Your seating position is higher. It feels more like you're driving an SUV like the Model X than it does like the Model 3. My wife, she's a smaller lady, so she likes to sit up high in a car. She never really enjoys driving the 3, but she really liked the time in the Y. She thought it gave her a more open sense of the road. Also, in the 3, it's got a beautiful panoramic roof on top. There's a crossbar there. That crossbar has been totally removed with the Y, kind of giving you a for car different. For me, it's a family hauler. It's got to be practical. And the best use case I could think of to try that was going to Costco. And this was an average Costco trip for a family of 5. Paper towel, toilet papers, fruits, veggies, a really big amount of stuff that I would have had a really hard time fitting into the Model 3. And as you can see, I could fit all of it in the back hatch and the sub trunk with room to spare without having to put anything in the second row floor or even touching the front trunk. And at least for me, I know if I was going out for dinner with my whole family, I could take the Y. And I could have beach chairs or baseball gear in the back and still have a ton of room to stop by at the grocery store. That's just not the case for me with the Model 3. So the Model Y at least gives me more peace of mind for hauling people and things.
Hey there. Bet you didn't expect me. So my name's Matt. I help make the videos here, and when we were looking at the Model Y, we realized something. John and I are completely different. We have different lives. He has a family. He doesn't really go anywhere. Sorry, John. I don't have kids, but I also love to travel and do a lot of extracurricular activities. But we both still think that this is the car for us, even though we do completely different things with it. For me, I need a car that I can be in for a long time. I take tons of road trips, obscene amounts of road trips. So I'm in the car a lot. So having a car that is safe, reliable, and comfortable is important. But also I want one that is fun to drive, and the Model Y does that. So just like John, I drive a Model 3 every day. That is my daily car. And I was surprised how similar this feels to that, even though it's bigger in pretty much every way. The main thing you definitely notice is that it's taller. But usually that comes with a sacrifice of performance. You go around a bend, you feel like you're going to fall over. But that doesn't happen here, surprisingly. I was expecting it to, but it doesn't. It isn't as nimble. That's just physics. You do get more body roll. But it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, and that instant torque and acceleration meant it just feels plain fast. But this car satisfies my craving of a fun car to drive. And even though it's a bigger SUV, it feels like a sports car, honestly. Now, supercharging and charging in general is just always the biggest question I have always heard and seen when it comes to not only owning a Tesla, but just road trips with the Tesla. The long-range Model Y tops out at 316 miles of range, which I have found to be completely adequate. But having that over 300 miles of range means that I never have to worry about it, which is something that, with previous versions of electric cars, you always had to. The supercharger network is, for me, the reason why I just can't see myself not having a Tesla if I'm going to have an electric car. Being able to go across the country, and yeah, you're going to have to stop, you're going to have to wait to charge, but the supercharger network is, I think, one of the key selling features of not only the Model Y, but just Teslas in general. Autopilot is another area where Tesla just excels, and when you're on road trips, this is immensely useful. Being able to just set it and forget it for the most part, of course, still paying attention, but it just takes a load off and it makes going farther distances even easier.